أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون القائل ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون الذين آمنوا وكانوا يتقون لهم البشرى في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة لا تبديل لكلمات الله ذلك هو الفوز العظيم وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد قطب الأولياء وطاووس الأسفياء وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم بارك لنا في شيخنا وآته كل خير سألك منه سيدنا محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام واحفظه من كل شر استعاذ منه سيدنا محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام وارفعه درجات بين أوليائك يا رب العالمين يا رحمن يا رحيم اللهم آمين يا رب. أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. We had started the past time talking about the biography of the shuyukh of our silsila, and we had made the biography of Sayyidina Sheikh Muhammad Fawzi al-Karkari and the biography of Mawlay Hassan al-Karkari, and then today we'll start with the biography of Mawlay Tahir al Karkari, who is the second sheikh in our silsila, coming back from the bottom. So Mawlay Tahir al Karkari, who he is very known as Hassani Sharif. He's a descendant of the Prophet ﷺ by his grandson Mawlay Hassan, and he was Sharif by his father and his mother. And Mawlay Tahir al Karkari was also the grandson of a very known wali of the north of Morocco, who is Sidi Muhammad ibn Qaddur al-Wakili. So then when he was born, he had been raised in the zawiya and the Tariq of his grandfather, who was Mawlay Muhammad ibn Qaddur. And then he has been raised in the environment which was the environment of deen and taqwa. And the example of that environment was his own father, Sidi Muhammad al-Fardi, who was the grandson of Sidi Muhammad ibn Qaddur. And Sidi Muhammad al-Fardi was someone very, very truthful in his saying and his actions, because he was a man who had been raised in the sidq, what he is called sidq. And one of an anecdote in his life is that one day, in the time of colonization of Morocco, Mawlay Muhammad Fardi had to go to a travel, and he had a lot of money with him because he was going to work. And he entered in a bus, and at that time there was an inspection of the colonizer in any road to know how people what they had. And if they found that people had money, they took that money. And Mawlay Muhammad Fardi, he was in that bus, and the inspector of the colonizer stopped the bus and started to make the control of all people who was in that bus. And when they come to Mawlay Muhammad Fardi, they asked him, how many money have you on you? He said a great amount of money, because that was all the amount he had. He had said that amount because he didn't fear of them to take his money, and that he was truthful in what he was saying. He told in any time the truth. And when he told that great amount of money, that people didn't trust him. They thought that he was laughing, and they started to laugh at him. And then they didn't go out, then didn't go further in their control, and he kept his money. So it's just to show you what the taqwa, the level of taqwa that people had, and in what environment Sidi Mawlay Tahir al Karkari had been raised. And he started Sidi Tahir al Karkari to learn the science of Islam. He learned fiqh. He learned grammar, Arab grammar, and all that science. But he did know that it was not the real science, but it was a part of science, and that the deeper science was in the heart of the man of Allah. And then he started to search of a sheikh who would lead him to Allah. And he went one day with his uncle, his paternal uncle, and another of the murid of his father, and he went to see Sidi Ahmed ibn Mustafa al-Alawi, who is very known as a great wali of in the north of Algeria. Then he went to Mustaqadam to pay a visit to Sidi Ahmed ibn Mustafa al-Alawi and to take from him the wird. And it was a very so it was an occasion for Sidi Ahmed ibn Mustafa al-Alawi to show that he was a real wali, because when Sidi Mawlay Tahir and all the people with him he was arrived to the station, the bus station, Sidi Ahmed ibn al-Alawi was in his zawiya. He told to his murid, get up, because a great man will come to visit us. And then when he arrived, Sidi Mawlay Tahir and all the people with him they started, Sidi Ahmed al-Alawi started to congratulate them, and they paid him a visit of 3 days. And then he gave them the wird, and from that moment, Mawlay Tahir al Karkari started to make the wird and to have the nur of Allah in his heart, and started to make that nur greater. And and he had a very good suhbah with Sidi Ahmed al-Alawi, because soon he became one of his great murid. As he say in the Rawda al-Saniyya, which is a book written by the inheritor of the zawiya of Sidi Ahmed al-Alawi, he is Sheikh Adda bin Tunis. He wrote in his book that one of the great muqaddam of Sidi al-Alawi was Mawlay Tahir al Karkari, and that Mawlay Tahir al Karkari in the lifetime of Sidi al-Alawi, he had the izn to give the wird and the izn to lead people to Allah, to guide them to Allah. So that shows that Mawlay Tahir al Karkari was a real man of Allah and Sheikh Murabbi in his time when his own Sheikh was alive. And then what shows that also he was accomplished Sheikh is that in the last day of the life of Sidi Ahmed al-Alawi, he was very sick. Sidi al-Alawi was very sick, and he didn't come. He was no more able to make people enter to the khulwa and to take care of them. Then he was delegated to Mawlay Tahir al Karkari to make them enter in the khulwa and to have the seal of Allah. So that shows also that he was a very accomplished Shaykh. He was able to give the nur and then to explain all what the murid find in that nur. Sidi al-Alawi Mawlay Tahir then used to come in the zawiya of Mustaqadam, because he was living at the time in Timsaman in the north of Morocco. He had the habit to come to Mawlay Ahmed al-Alawi once in the year. When he came in the year, Sidi al-Alawi was telling people, you can't enter in the khulwa that because I am sick. But what we do, he was waiting until Mawlay Tahir come to his zawiya to tell all people who had reached the station going to the khulwa. They will take. He then told to Mawlay Tahir to take care of them and to make them enter in the khulwa. So it's a story also is told about that, because Mawlay Tahir had his zawiya in Timsaman, and some people wanted to go to visit Mawlay Ahmed in Sidi Muhammad Ahmed in al-Alawi. Then Mawlay Tahir told them, do not go till Mustaqadam in Algeria, because you will have all the difficulties of the travel. When what you are searching is with me, all what you can you are searching in Mustaqadam, it is with me. So that people didn't trust him, and then they traveled to Mustaqadam. But when they arrived, so anything happened. Then Sidi Ahmed al-Alawi makes them wait, and he makes them wait until Mawlay Tahir came to his annual visit, paying a visit and of Sidi Ahmed al-Alawi, and then at that time just they entered in the khulwa, because Mawlay Tahir, what he told them that just of sake of loving them, because not to abandon them the difficulties of the travel. Then Sidi Ahmed al-Alawi used to say to Mawlay Tahir, bida'atuhum ruddat ilaykum. Look, he used to say them, what you had, your luggage had been gone back to you, because as you know, Sidi Ahmed al-Alawi was the murid of Sidi Muhammad al-Buzidi. He himself was a murid of Sidi Muhammad ibn Qaddar al-Wakili. And you know, as I told you, that Sidi Mawlay Tahir was a descendant of Sidi Muhammad ibn Qaddar, and then what Sidi al-Alawi used to say to them is that the wilaya has come back to your family, because it had gone back from Sidi Muhammad ibn Qaddar, and then it is coming back to you, Sidi Mawlay Tahir. And Mawlay Tahir al Karkari was a real man with all the akhlaq of Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, because he was a man very strict in the application of Sharia. He was a man of as we say, of jalala, because he was very strict in all what is the external law. And then he was when he was sitting with his fuqara, he was inciting them to make the zikr, and just the fact to see him was a mean to make zikr. And that are the awliya of Allah, as it says the hadith, when you see them, you remember of Allah. And one from his students and the murid who took from him are first his father, Sidi Muhammad al-Fardi. As we say, Sidi Muhammad al-Fardi was a very salih man. He was a pious man. He has a lot of karamat, because as we said, because his truthness, he had a lot of karamat. Till people in his village in the Jabal of Karkar used to say, do not make him angry, because if you make him angry and he make dua over you, that dua will happen without any doubt. And that they didn't want that thing to arrive. But nevertheless, he was a very pious man. He had karamat. He hadn't the ma'rifah of Allah. And when he saw that his own son had the ma'rifah of Allah, and then he took bayha with him, Sidi Muhammad al-Fardi. He took bayha with him, and then he entered in the khulwa and was the inheritor of the sifat of Allah. From his also his murid is one Sidi Sayyid. His name is Sayyid. He was a man who also had karamat. He was in the Tariqa Darqawiya. He had a lot of karamat. Then when he was making the zikr with the ism al-mufrad Allah, he was seeing all the fire coming from his own hand. Then he could send fire like that, and to take fire, some fire without any without it to make him any danger on his body. Then, but also, as we say, the fact of having karamat is not the fact of having the ma'rif of Allah. And then he was searching for a sheikh to guide him to Allah. Then he went to the Tariq of Sidi Muhammad ibn Qaddar al-Wakili, which is in the Jabal of Karkar, a mountain. And then he was having the eager the volunteer for Allah to show him what people would guide him to Allah by that visit. And he started to sleep, and in his sleep he saw a man who was on a donkey, and he was on a donkey, and who came as he was coming to him, and that he woke up, and as he was waking up, he saw Mawlay Tahir al Karkari coming in the same donkey as his dream. And he was entering in the Tariq, and he told him, I won't let you as long as you don't guide me to Allah, and for me to be people who know Allah. And Mawlay Tahir told him, so no matter come back to my zawiya and I will give you the wird. And he gave him the wird, and he was one of the Arif Billah. And of his murid are also Mawlay Hassan al Karkari, as we told in the previous video. We explained how he entered in the path of tasawwuf, and how he was the inheritor of the seer of Allah. And he was, after the death of Mawlay Tahir, he was the one who was charged to guide people to Allah. And then Mawlay Tahir al Karkari passed away in 1976, and he was at the time reciting the Surat al-Mulk, and he was saying the last word he said in that word was Allah, the Ism Allah, with which he had lived all his life. And that is the resume of the biography of Sayyidina Mawlay Tahir al Karkari, for you to know some fact of the life of that men of Allah that are consecrated all their life to Allah, and for them Allah has granted them his sir and make them of his awliya. اللهم بارك لنا في كل أولياء سلسلتنا يا رب العالمين، وانفعنا من بركاتهم، وجعلنا ماشيا على سبيلهم برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، والسلام على المرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين.